Welcome y'all to another episode of the Presidential Executive. What's going on? It's your boy right here, JB. This is my brother over here, El Presidente Rag. What's going on, my boy?
Man, what it do?
You already know what it is, man. Getting yourself together right there, man. Getting the prep game going.
No, we was having that good discussion about, X and whatnot. Normally I already have my beverage made.
Yeah.
But we were having that good discussion about verifying accounts and whatnot.
Yeah. They're getting gritty out here. Y'all know what to do, whether on replay, whether on live. Go ahead and like this video right now. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and like this video right now wherever that you stream podcasts. That's Apple, that's YouTube, that's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Stitcher.
And y'all don't forget, like you said, like it and everything. Wherever you stream it, y'all help us move that algorithm. But also don't forget to subscribe to all of our sites at the PresX TV, Presidential Executive Podcast on Facebook, but at the PresX TV everywhere else. And so again, on YouTube, that's on IG, that's on X. Just add us. Like I said, help us move the algorithm. Every little bit helps. And it costs you nothing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So just if you want to support us, if you're cool with us, fool with us.
Yes, sir. Man, this it's always a lot going on around here, man. I think I sent you kind of the rundown. You sent me something, and I just kind of add a few other things to it. So we got everything from NBA playoffs to the cat fights to the Diddy trial. You know what I'm saying? And other things in the quickest we got about Clarissa Shields and some other stuff going on. But I did want to start with, this is kind of stuff that kind of really been hitting everybody's content in the airwaves a lot, talking about the Caitlin Clark. The WNBA has started officially. Honestly, I wouldn't say excited, but I'm more intrigued with the league now because I like basketball, and I think Caitlin Clark can ball. So I didn't watch it this weekend. I didn't even know it was on, but obviously I saw the highlights and stuff like that was going on with Caitlin Clark. I wanted to maybe do a highlight. I don't know. Have you seen it? You seen it? You see the play?
Or the flagrant foul?
The flagrant foul.
I mean, like
I can play
from what growing up playing in the park, playing at Mount Moriah, playing at Raleigh Community Center, playing at Gaston, like that wasn't no flagrant foul. That was a common foul. But the way they call it now, that was a flagrant foul. So if you're going off of the way the rules are, then technically that was a flagrant foul. I think it was overblown. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think in the throes of competition, anytime anybody get fouled, you're going to turn around and, eyeball the person, mean mug, all smoke, no fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a big deal. And I think they would have moved on from it had we moved on from it. You know what I'm saying? But, like, every time something happens with either one of them, it gets overblown. It gets blown out of proportion. And I'm not even going to say rightfully so. Like, I think that people don't. I mean, granted, it's giving us something to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But,
it's
like,
content.
it's content. I think that some of them don't have anything to talk about. And so because you don't have anything to talk about, then it's almost like how when we talk about, like, during football season, the Cowboys are an easy target.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw, that moves the needle because when you say Cowboy back in the day, like when you say Patriots, people's going to tune in because it's certain teams that move the needle. And so, and I don't think the Cowboys will never not move the needle, at least for the foreseeable future. They're one of those teams. And then the W, you say Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and I think that Caitlin Clark is must-see because of her ability, and Angel Reese is must-see because of her celebrity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so anytime they're doing
and her
something.
body, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, she can stop playing basketball and model. She can be an analyst. She can decide to get into Hollywood and be in movies. Yeah. She has a look. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, and she doesn't, more than any player in the W, she doesn't shy away from that. She doesn't try to hide it. She doesn't try to make herself more masculine or anything like that. Like she flaunts it,
It's
and that was one thing that we were saying. You want
great.
eyes,
Yeah.
that's helping the product out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the only reason I wanted to put this up is because we kind of tackled about two topics in one, just because I think RG3, because he's on his own independent type of podcast. I don't think he's with a network right now.
Right.
I think he's just by himself. Him and his wife got like a pod going on or whatever. And he came out and said from this whole thing that, newsflash, Angel Reese doesn't like Caitlin Clark, which, if you paid attention to anything over the last couple years, this is not news. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just like to say that just to hold yourself accountable, it don't even matter, because I think even Gil's Arena talked about it. I think Cheryl Swoops was on there talking to Kenya Martin. They were kind of going back and forth at it. The whole race bait thing, I think is crazy. But to what you were saying, like with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, they're going to bring eyeballs to the league. But I think I put a post up about this, but it's kind of like it could be a rivalry, but I think Caitlin Clark's talent way overshadows what Angel Reese can do on the court. So it's almost, to me, it's like Rudy Gobert and like Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? As far as a bit now, she has more of a off the court brand going on, you know what I'm saying, than anybody else. But you know what I'm saying, as far as like on the court stuff, when I think of rivalries, I'm thinking of people that are in the same stratosphere as talent, right?
Well, when you say Jordan, if that's the case, Jordan didn't have any rivals.
No, he had Barkley.
No, but what I'm saying is he was clearly in a class by himself. But the rivalry was the fact that when they played each other, they brought the best out of each other. It was must-see TV. Like the fact that, my team has won a national championship, and we beat your team to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to like it. It is what it is. Now, they play two different positions. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and their style of play is different. So you're talking about like Tim Duncan versus Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And so like that
Well, it ain't even that to me.
You're looking at it from the standpoint of two Hall of Famers. Neither one of them are Hall of Famers right now. If their career was to end today, neither one of them would be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Who?
Neither one of them. Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark.
That's a lie.
No, she hasn't done enough.
That's a lie. Dude,
no, she hadn't done enough.
She's already.
If Derrick Rose ain't a Hall of Famer, Caitlin Clark is not a Hall of Famer.
Caitlin Clark is already the number one triple double in her career for the whatever team she played for.
Right, and when they compare your overall career to get in the Hall of Fame, she did not win a state championship in high school. She did not win a national championship in college. And so now, she's got a long career ahead of her. But if she does not win a championship, she is the Pistol Pete Maravich of the WNBA.
Yeah.
Pistol Pete averaged almost 50 points a game in college. And they were saying, really, if you add, because they couldn't play when they were freshmen, if you add the points that he made, because he averaged over 50 on the JV college, which is what all freshmen played, if you was to add his points, nobody would even come close. So they're saying like, oh, Caitlin did something. Yes, it took you 4 years. He did it in 3. So again, he didn't win any championships in the NBA, but he was exciting. He was box office.
Right? He in the Hall of Fame, right?
He was but again, he played in the league 10 years too, though.
Yeah.
It's not just what he did in college. It was the fact that he was a multiple-time All-Star in the NBA. And so what I'm saying is that, God forbid, anything, like I think they both have a long career ahead of them. I think that at the end of her career, she is definitely, without question, if she continues on the pace, going to be first ballot.
Yeah.
But, again, like we look at guys like a Penny or Gilbert Arenas when they was having their run. You could, with Derrick Rose when he was having his run, we just knew, they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. But then at the end of it, it's like, okay, when you look at the total body of work, right now, neither one of them do not have a total body of work. We're being prisoners of the moment right now. Granted, she's getting a leeway that most players in the W have never gotten. She's being allowed to do some things that most players, say for maybe a Diana Taurasi, a Maya Moore, a handful was allowed to really do what she's doing.
Yeah,
and
but
she's shining in
let
a
me
way.
chime in before you finish up. Now, the whole thing is, even right now, Caitlin Clark, given like, even because the Hall of Fame is not just what you do in the league, it's what you do, what you've done in college. And so she had a historical college career. She had a historical rookie year. Like I said, Angel Reese may be a little different story, but she had a historical rookie year herself. She won in college or whatever like that. But my point, I don't want to get too off track that forget about them both being in the Hall of Fame, whatever, right now, but just their style of play. Like, personally, I wouldn't pay to go see Angel Reese play basketball, right? I may go watch to see her, right? So if we're talking about just straight hoop, I would go see Caitlin before I go see Angel, strictly because style of play. I don't want to see like a Rudy Gobert do what they do. I want to see
You wouldn't have
somebody
paid to
else.
see Tim Duncan play.
That's a lie.
It was boring.
No, but
he was boring.
No, but he was efficient. He played ball.
Was boring.
To who?
Everyone.
No,
that's why his nickname was the Big Fundamental.
He wasn't born.
He was extremely boring.
He was born to
he
the
was
media.
the best. He was like Wolverine. He was the best at what he did.
He wasn't born.
And so most post players, with the exception, like hell yeah, he was boring.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't like ball then, because
he didn't. It was nothing exciting about his game.
But you would still watch him play though.
But he was old faithful. He was old reliable. But I mean, when you go look at moves in the post, go look at footage of Kevin McHale. He had less moves in the post than Kevin McHale did. But to your point, nobody was as efficient as him. Nobody was as reliable as him. But he was not exciting. His nickname was the Big Fundamental. Kevin McHale's nickname was the Torture Chamber. And you talk to anybody from Kevin Garnett to the bar, they say nobody had footwork like dude in the post.
Yeah.
But to juxtapose those two guys, like you're talking about a position that's back to the basket, it's not sexy, it's nothing exciting. Again, even you take Steph Curry and you take any four that's in the league now, except for maybe they play Durant at the four, but he's more like a three. Say for maybe like a Durant, what four are you going to watch before you watch Steph Curry? Now, I ain't talking about historical, like right now, what four are you going to watch before you watch Steph Curry? It's not one.
Ben Chiro.
You're not going to watch him before you watch Steph Curry. And I didn't say Ben Chiro wasn't exciting.
No, it's not.
But you ain't gonna watch him before you watch Steph.
But I would watch him because he
before you watch Steph.
He plays basketball though.
Before you watch Steph.
No,
that's the question. Not if you would watch him. It's a lot of fours you would watch.
No, but I wouldn't watch.
Who would you watch before you would watch Steph?
Angel Reese play ball. Period.
Okay, and again, what I'm saying is, and her position, the way she plays, she's a defender. She's a rebounder.
Correct.
That's pretty much her game. And even her scoring, she doesn't score in ways like doing a whole bunch of moves. It's putbacks, it's free throws, it's hustle plays, it's fast break. Like, that's how she gets her bucket.
She shoots like 42% from the field.
Again, because she's not an offensive player.
Right. So
she's a defender and a rebounder. But when you talk about two people who constantly faced each other in college, and when their teams played, even though, and they never guarded each other really, but when their teams played, it was must-see TV. It was box office. And then you got one team that gets the victory to win a championship over the other team. And then when you beat the next year, when your team beat her team, y'all lose still and you don't win. So it's still like they've got that over your head. It's a rivalry. It's not a skill-based rivalry. It's a rivalry because of those two players. I mean, when the Pistons and the Bulls had a rivalry, there wasn't nobody on that Pistons team that could hold the candle to Jordan or what he was doing on the court. But it was a rivalry because they brought out the best of each other. It was box office. It was must-see TV.
But that was a team rivalry. That wasn't a. You can arguably say Isaiah and Michael were in the same stratosphere. We knew Jordan was better, but Isaiah was in his own right that dude. Or Magic.
Okay, when they say Magic and Bird.
And
they rarely guarded each other.
They were in the same stratosphere as far as talent.
But they rarely guarded each other. Their games were two totally different games.
Yeah, but I'm
You
saying,
had Bird, who was a shooter, rebounder, defender. You had Magic, who was a playmaker, running the team, orchestrating offense and everything like that. But again, people laughed at Magic Johnson defense. Everybody said like Bird would give you your money's worth defensively. They played two different types of games. Magic couldn't hardly he shot better before he retired, but coming in, he couldn't shoot to save his life. Shooting was Bird's claim to fame. But it was box office and much CTV because of the story. That's what made the rivalry. Not so much that it's a guard versus a guard or two players that's gonna be D'ing each other up like when Jordan, when they played the Blazers, and it was like, okay, the number one shooting guard versus the number two shooting guard. That's a story. You're talking about a point guard versus a four. So it ain't about their skill as much as it is the story that they have historically met each other. And even going back, the reason why it was a thing when they were in college, because they had played each other growing up in AAU. So they went all the way back to AAU, and that's why it was a story when LSU was playing. I forget who Caitlin Clark was playing for, but that's why it was a thing. It's like, man, these girls been playing each other since AAU. Now they in college and they playing each other. Then they get drafted in the lottery of the W, and again, it's a big travesty because they didn't play on the Olympic team. You know what I'm saying? Because we talked about this last year.
Yeah,
that would have been must see because people wanted to see that brand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody who knows ball will say that Angel Reese skill wise is even close to Caitlin Clark. That ain't the thing, but it is a rivalry because they have consistently every time they play, we gonna talk about it, we gonna watch it. It's going to be some chipping back and forth. It's going to be this person don't like this person don't like that person.
Yeah, I think when I think of a rivalry, I think once Angel Reese actually have a squad around her, we can maybe get into that. But they super slow. The Fever going to be in the championship type of category, so that's one of the reasons I say they really not a rivalry, just because the Chicago Sky, they slow. They beat them for about 30. I think the first game or whatever like that. And they beat them twice, whatever, last year, which, like I said, the one-on-one with Caitlin and Angel is always good, just to see what they're going to do. But I just look at, the Angel Reese thing. I just wish people would stop fronting, because I think Angel Reese has said before she ain't got no problem with Caitlin Clark. I ain't got no problem with her. We that. But then when you see it on the court, when stuff like that happened, which was just a regular take foul, now you getting up like you just about to start spraying on her. When last year, Alicia Thomas did a flagrant 2 foul on her, flipped the girl over and pushed her over. She ain't get up and do nothing. Which, to a point, that's whatever. But, I just don't like the other stuff where you talking about, if you don't like somebody, if you don't like somebody, just like, hey, I don't fool with her like that. I respect her. I do that. But they're kind of in the media playing this game. Well, she's in the middle playing this game that, I have no problem with her. I like her. You know what I'm saying? But then that same energy is not put when somebody else does a harder foul on you and you don't have that same energy. But when Caitlin Clark, I get it, because it's the whole, the thing, she may feel a certain type of way. But if you don't like somebody, just say you don't like somebody. You know what I mean? Don't put this whole media front up just kind of like it's something that it's not, and everybody else just really pulling something else out that's not there.
I don't think that they either one of them have a problem with each other. I think that the problem is that I never get to talk about myself or what's going on. Every moment I have, I got to answer a question about this person. Every time I'm talked to, it's in the frame of what the other person is doing and how our careers compare to each other and what she's doing in comparison to me. And it's never about I want to talk about my own brand or what I'm doing or my team or whatever. But it's always in comparison. And so I don't think it's personal. I think with anybody, if every time you get asked a question, and they're interviewing you, it's like, hey, JB, so tell us about some of the guys you used to hang out with. Tell us about B. Howard. Tell us about Pat. And so, okay, yeah, oh, man, that's my boy, da-da-da. But then, okay, man, so, yeah, I want to talk about my partner. Man, that's cool. B. Howard doing this, or, Pat doing this, or Keenan doing this. that might be cool one time. But if every single time you got interviewed, or I ain't even gonna say every time, 6 times out of 10.
I don't even see every time.
6 times out of 10.
I don't even see that.
If it's 50-50,
yeah.
If it's 40-60, yeah. And we see it in interviews all the time when they're being interviewed and then somebody asks them something that don't have nothing to do with the game or something irrelevant. What do they do? Next question. Now, somebody say, oh, they got a problem. No, I don't want to talk about something that don't have nothing to do with what we're dealing with right now. And so I think it's frustrating. It's annoying. But again, she does recognize that she has a brand. And so instead of her popping off and snapping, because especially as a black woman, you don't want to get labeled as difficult. You don't want to get labeled as the angry black woman. We saw that with Janet Hubert from Fresh Prince. When she got labeled as difficult, that ruined her career. And so Angel Reese is just starting her career, and she realizes that even if she does play for, I just say 8 years, even if she does play for that long, she knows her brand is going to be beyond the court. So I don't want to mess up my big future plans over something right now that 10 years from now is not going to matter. But I honestly believe that she wants to snap off on the media because it's a constant thing of pitting them versus one another. And so I think sometimes when they play each other, it does come off against that. It's no different than if you had grown up in a household where, and I didn't, but I know of people who they grew up in a household and the dad was pitting the two sons versus one another. And the two sons didn't have no beef with each other. But sometimes when they would bump each other or whatever, like, you're going to catch the brunt of my frustration. I ain't even mad as you're mad because our dad is pitting us up versus against each other. And every time I do something, it's in comparison to you. And I'll never get to be my own person or enjoy my own celebrity or my own status because it's always being compared to you. Like, I can never have a moment because they're always, even when they were in college, when they won, the question was about how sad they were losing. And you've been at the height of your thing. So let's not act like that ain't been happening. I don't even get to enjoy my moment. We win and everybody's like, oh, do y'all feel sad for this person? She had the most historic season and, you know, she was crushed. How did it, like, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I would say she would have to stop lending to that type of energy, right? Because for one, if she is trying to get away from that type of narrative, then when a regular foul that Caitlyn just did on you, not to get up acting like you trying to fight her or something like that, because then that's going to lend to the narrative that what we all thought, you don't like her anyway. Last year in the WNBA, when one of her teammates got on her head and did a flagrant foul on her or something like that, Angel Reese, the only one over there on the bench. Yeah, get her. Like, she's shooting her own self in the foot if that's how she really thinks. Because if she really wants to put that on pause like that, she would not do the things that she does. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. If that's what she wants to do, then she would carry herself in a different way to where a lot of people not going to think that about her, that she don't like Caitlyn Clark because she does the stuff that makes you look like, oh, she don't like her. She don't do that because, again, Alicia Thomas flipped a girl upside down, pushed that girl off, and she got a flagrant too. She got kicked out the game.
Would you fight Alicia Thomas?
She didn't get out nothing.
Would you fight Alicia Thomas?
If I was Angel...
No. Right now. Like, if you saw her in a dark alley, would that be somebody you'd be trying to fight?
Not me.
Okay, then. And that's all I'm saying. LeBron, when Narzi Muhammad shoved LeBron and he slid across his court, and LeBron jumped up, and when he saw who pushed him, what happened? Or what about Isaiah Stewart to play for Detroit? LeBron didn't want no parts of that.
He got it.
But not, no, he didn't. LeBron was like, hold me back, and then it was that. He didn't jump up and stew like that.
Angel Reese didn't do none of that.
And so what I'm saying is, but now when somebody else, when Dennis Schroeder fouls LeBron, all of a sudden LeBron is super gangster. We all do that. If it's somebody that we know we can take, we're going to put off this aggressive thing like what? Oh, you got me messed up. And when it's somebody who we know gonna give us the business, we gonna be like, You better be glad my teammate holding me. No, I ain't trying to get ejected from the game. I'm trying to be professional or whatever. Everybody, it's called common sense.
But to your point, if she's trying to not, if she's tired of people coming into interviews saying something about Caitlin Clark and stuff like that, it would probably be to her best interest not to react in ways that's going to act. Because honestly, like we talked about, her game is not exciting. So the best thing for somebody to talk about, they're not going to talk about, oh my gosh, you got 10 offensive rebounds. You know what I'm saying? You shot 5 for 22 from the field. Like, whoa, what was that? Like, no. The most interesting thing is when you play Caitlin Clark because her game is more exciting. So we need to talk about that. So if she wants to calm down that narrative, she has to stop reacting to her in a way that makes it obvious that, you know what I'm saying? Like, she had to get up and try to fight Alicia Thomas, but she could, you know what I'm saying, act like she was like, hey, I ain't going. You know what I'm saying? Alicia Thomas, she ain't as big as Angel. Like, that's actually somebody her size. You know what I'm saying? Like, Draymond ain't going to do that to Shaq or something like that, but he'll do it to somebody like
Right.
Julius Randle.
He's going to try to bully who he know he can bully.
Julius Randle. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but let's not act like they don't make these narratives up and it's not frustrating when you're the one receiving it. Like we saw that with Boston. Jaylen Brown did nothing to not make the USA team. He keeps to himself. He's with his woman. He loves his mama and his family. This man is going back teaching college courses. He is the epitome of what you want a role model and everything to be. But because you don't want to conform to a certain thing, they're going to make it and say, oh, well, you're not amicable and you're arrogant, and you think they're going to make a narrative up regardless. And so even with that, when they talked about it over the summer, she gave Caitlin her flowers, no shade thrown. It wasn't said in sarcasm. She talked about how good she was. And how they were the future of the league and how they're going to turn it around and everything like that. And she's excited for what they're going to do. And then even some of the upcoming players, and she said it's good for the league. And, you know, like, yeah, when we get on the court, yeah, we're going to compete. Because that's the throes of competition. But that's my girl. Like, you could do all that. But every time something happens, they're going to. And so it's frustrating. And let's not act like you played tennis and you've been on some teams where you was that guy. But the coach had his favorite. And you didn't have no problem with the coach's favorite. But just because the coach was always gassing this other player up, whenever y'all play versus each other and you serve and you got an ace, you was like, yeah, now what? Now what? Yeah, now what? And that wasn't even directed at the other player. And he might have been like, damn, JB, man. No, I ain't got no beef with you. I'm really pissed off at the coach because he keep gassing you and he know I'm that guy. And so now I'm not saying that Angel is that girl, but it's kind of a thing of like, well, damn, like, I tell y'all she my girl. I tell y'all we ain't beefing for real. It's just competition. I tell y'all she's one of the best to do it. That we finna turn this thing around and we got now. Not next, we got now. I'm giving her flowers. She's done what no other woman is done and the best is yet to come. And still, every time we see each other, y'all gonna make it a black versus white thing. Y'all gonna make it a me. And we don't even guard each other. Like when they played each other in college, the matchup really was Caitlin and Flage. That's who was guarding each other. But again, it was the Bayou Barbie versus, Caitlin. Like that. That's just the way they made it. Even though they did not, it might have been 2 or 3 plays the whole game, and generally that was on a switch or a fast break or something. It was never a time where the game on the line, clock, and Angel like, nah, I got her, or the other way around. If they throwing it to Angel and she's in the post or something, Caitlin would like, nah, center, big, 4-man or 5-man teammate. No, I got her. Yeah. So again, I understand the frustration of, and the only thing I can equate to it for me, and I don't want to seem shady when doing it, but like when my career path had changed and every time I was doing a different gig, or doing a different play, I could never do a show. I could never do a thing without getting asked a question about. And it's like I've been gone for 2 years and y'all still asking me about. And so somebody could say like, damn, no, it ain't that. I wish him the best. I'm praying for him. I hope his life is going well. But I am doing this. This is what I'm on. This is the group I got now. Like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this show we just did. Let's talk about the tour we're on. Yeah. I don't want to talk about, this old situation and what he doing, what he not doing. Like, so it can be frustrating when all you want to do is use your gift and move forward, and you're constantly getting compared to or asked about a situation or a person. And it can seem like I'm irritated with this person. And it's like, I'm really not irritated. Like, I don't even think about this person like that. But it's like, every time I'm doing something, it's like clockwork. Somebody going, oh, good performance, man. We love this. Man, appreciate that. Oh, man, we loved you when you was, oh, appreciate that. Oh, yeah, so when you was with, here we go. And so now when they ask that, then somebody over here, oh, dang, I forgot about that. So now the next 7 questions is all about this thing, and we trying to talk about right now. And so I get her frustration. I think that when it's all said and done, they're going to be just like how Bird and Magic laugh about it now, and they talk, and they still talk trash to each other, but it's like a genuine love. Or like when Jordan is talking with Dominique, and like when they played each other, like, oh, we couldn't stand, but now it's like, oh, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what it is, but it's going to be when it's over with. We ain't going to see that while they playing.
I think it's going to be more so like Jordan and Isaiah, because we know doing it, like Jordan in public never gave in to anything, said anything about Isaiah, but we know the stuff that was going on in the background. He always kept it good. He always like, we ain't got no issues, but we know that they had the issues. It's all coming out, whatever now. Like, I think it's going to be more so like that. I just think if Angel really wants to do that, she needs to learn how to play with the media more and not do things that lends to that narrative, because they looking for it, right? And so if they looking for it, you got to be, because like I said, it may not be true, but we know perception is reality. So if somebody else do this to you, you ain't gonna have that same energy, but when she do that to you, you're gonna, like, it's gonna look like that, whether your intentions were like that or not. That's just the way it looked like. So I like it. I don't care if they like each other or not. Like, I think it's good for the WNBA if they don't. I'm just like, don't, at this day and age in 2025, you can say you don't like somebody, be okay. Like back then when Jordan and Isaiah were going at it, you kind of had to play the game and, kind of keep the shield up like that. But nowadays it's like, you don't even need to, if you don't like somebody, be like, I don't fool with her, but I respect her though. I respect the game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, there's no need to play this whole PC game in 2025, because they can actually work in your favor. But when you know what I'm saying, pissing on somebody saying it's rain, literally, like, it's just kind of like, no, we know you don't like each other, and that's okay. We just don't like, stop lying and acting like it's something that it's not.
I don't think that they, either one of them, dislike each other. I think that it's an overblown thing, because, like, for example, and I doubt this will ever happen, but in the event, I guarantee you that if they were ever to end up on the same team, nobody would ride harder for the other person than they would for each other.
Yeah.
I think that, like, you talk about Isaiah and Mike, I don't think, because they respect each other. The thing is that neither one of them have ever apologized. And so as long as it's both big me and little you, I'm right and you're wrong, and that's the energy, it's going to always be that. But you forget, a lot of us forget, it was a time when Isaiah and Magic was beefing.
Yep.
And then what happened? I think somebody had, one of their child had died, or something happened where somebody had passed, and they came together and they apologized. And then after that, and they've been thick as thieves ever since. Yeah. But all it took was for somebody to put their ego aside and say, hey, man, my bad. Forgive me. We lost too much time. And so, like, if you look, because it was a period of time where it was before the Dream Team, and the Pistons was out of the playoffs, and they were talking or whatever, and Isaiah was talking about how dominant Jordan was and how he was the best player, and everything like that. Was on but then as stuff came out, and it was like, oh, he didn't want, like, so then that's when now I'm going to throw my shade back. And then so, like, stuff where Jordan is still kind of sore about You know, the Jordan rules, he's still sore about. Like, I thought we was better than that. When we beat y'all, I thought we was going to shake hands. Because when y'all beat us, we came and shook y'all hand and hugged you. I just wanted the same respect as a competitor and as a brother. You didn't give me that. Like, I think that if they was to sit down and really just be like, look, this is the way I felt. But, man, you kicked our ass and them shit. Yeah, you know what, man, when y'all came through, and I guarantee you after that, the next time you saw Isaiah talk about who the GOAT was, nobody's better than Michael Jordan. Yeah. I guarantee you when you ask, because at one point I remember Jordan did an interview and they was talking about the best point guards, and he said the only point guard better than Isaiah was Magic.
Magic, yeah. He always,
you know what I'm saying? So, like, they respect, and so that's what I'm saying.
They respect
I
each other,
think that, and the
respect.
difference is that, to me, that's an example of a genuine, like, dislike. We respect each other, but we don't like each other. I think that,
and that's fine.
That Angel and Caitlin's dislike is because of the prisoner of the moment thing. I don't think that either one of them actually have beef with each other. But because, like I said, it became a story when they were in college, and it's like, oh, they played versus each other, and they've been playing versus each other since they were in AAU. And so then now you're in college on the biggest stage, and so now we're seeing each other in the NCAA tournament, and we have to beat each other to advance. And so now it becomes more of a story. And then now my team beats your team and we end up winning the national championship. Even though you're the best player, you know what I'm saying, in college. I'm the most marketable player in terms of having a brand in college. Like we're still not, like every time they mention one, they mention the other one. And so I think that both of them is exhausting because I think that Caitlyn is doing a lot more, I don't want to say apologizing, but she's trying to make sure, like, look, I'm not the only one. I'm not the first one. It's other people who have been doing this that y'all need to give props to. And I don't think that she wants to do, but it's like.
I think she's been overly apologetic when it comes to that.
But like, that's because they because they're acting like, and she recognizes. She understands this. Y'all are acting like, yes, now I might be the flashiest. I might be shooting it from, a place ain't nobody shot it before. But, like, let's not act like Cynthia Cooper wasn't coming in dropping 30. Yeah. And again, you talk about air, like, so everybody who Cynthia Cooper was playing versus Taretha Weatherspoon, Dawn Staley, like, she was playing versus some dogs. When y'all could actually, like, really make contact and stuff like that. And so Caitlyn, being a student of the game and knowing the history of the game, she knows this.
And she goes out her way to bring up other people, mostly black people, because she knows she's the little white girl that is coming in, being the face of the league and doing all that. So,
but not only that, because she knows that some media people are going out of their way to make it like she's the basket. We were in the caveman era before Caitlyn came, and that's not a good spot to be in when you're getting all that pressure heaped on you.
In which that's what I don't understand, because she is so apologetic and give props to like the previous stars before her, but then you still got people like Cheryl Swoops and others, legends, that pick on her like she's, being a certain type of way that she's obviously not being. She's actually going extreme out the way to be like, no, we don't need that. Let's big up Candace Parker, Cheryl Swoops, Maya Moore, like people like that she looked up to. But then you still got people like Cheryl Swoops is just like, kind of, to me, giving her a hard time and really hating on the girl. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it on Gil's Arena, like, it's just kind of, even the stuff that she was saying previously, talking about, oh, she 20, 25, 26 playing against the girl. This girl was a regular age, 21, 22, coming out of college. Like, little stuff like that, factual information that she just didn't get right. And so it just looks like you're hating on the girl. And then she was on Gil's Arena talking about what Kenyon talking about, yeah, that was a flagrant, and she should have probably got kicked out the game. Like, this was a regular foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, and stuff like that. And so when you talk about people egging it on in the media, you got other people on the other side, like Cheryl Swoops, that's been a legend in the game, egging it on to and putting it on a black woman type situation. We're going to go into this next one, which I just don't think, we need to even, it ain't got nothing to do with, for me, like, the race baiting and the black woman thing. because Ryan Clark, which the pivot star and everything else, I've been keeping up with him and stuff. I told you this is probably the last season or so. You know, he blocked me on X. You know what I'm saying? I think I put it on here, but he blocked me on X a while ago. I don't know what I said. I don't even remember talking to him like that on there. But he does a lot of race baiting now. And on the recent episode of the Pivot, you know, he talked about RG3 when he said, "Oh, RG3 said Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark," and so Ryan Clark talked about his wife, because you know he's married to a white woman, and saying that he doesn't know how to, paraphrasing now, he doesn't know how to empathize with a black woman because he's been married to 2 white women, right? And so then RG3 came back and was just like, "You going too far, you getting personal, da 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 da," you know, all this stuff. And so I'm interested to know, just from what I said, as far as Ryan Clark talking about the whole Angel Reese situation and Caitlin Clark, what we just talked about, and you know, saying that he was RG3 was out of line for saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, and saying that he probably feels this way because he can't empathize or know what a black woman goes through, or hasn't talked to one because his wife is white. Even though RG3 is fully black, he has a black mom, he has sisters, he got aunties, and all this. What you think about Ryan Clark making this statement?
I would say that just like how Jason Whitlock and Clarence Thomas have black moms and black sisters and black aunties, as RG3 does, RG3 consistently, and let's not get it twisted, it's not a black sports media personality that does not race bait, whether one way or the other. And whether it's Stephen A. Smith on one side, or Jason Whitlock on the other side, or Ryan Clark on one side and RG3 on the other side, or Emmanuel Acho and Marcellus Wiley, or like, it ain't one. Every single one of them do it, whether it's for one side or the other side. I just have never seen, outside of
Ryan do it to an extreme though.
No, as does Stephen A. Smith, as does Jason Whitlock, as does Emmanuel Acho, as does Marcellus Wiley. Like, all of them do it.
Did you see the Pivot when he had the white boy on there, the comedian?
Yeah, Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, he got roasted on his own show. Andrew Schultz lit one in him because...
And when he was brought to his
even
attention,
on that,
and he said, okay...
He tried to wiggle his way out of it.
I misunderstood where you was coming from. This is where I was speaking from, and I misunderstood your point.
He ain't misunderstood nothing, man.
No, but what I'm saying is he wasn't so stuck on his opinion that he acknowledged that he was wrong.
But to me, you ain't got no choice in a situation
It
like
don't
that.
matter. If I'm wrong and I get called out on it.
But he didn't say he was wrong, though.
Yes, he did. No. He didn't verbally say I was wrong.
Correct.
What he said is that
I thought this, I said this. This was my intention.
I should not have assumed that this is the point that you was making.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, I mean, like, sometimes we want to hear, you're right, I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say to you, damn, JB, you brought some information I didn't even know about. I just said you was right.
You didn't.
Yes, I did.
Mm-mm.
Yes, I did.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's semantics. That's semantics. If I say, JB, I shouldn't have done this, and I say, JB, I'm sorry, somebody could say, okay, well, you said you're sorry, but you didn't say you shouldn't have done it.
You niggas,
somebody could flip that. If I said I shouldn't have done this, I made a mistake.
You can start right there.
I was incorrect.
You can start right there.
However you want to do it.
You can start right there.
We could sit up here and play a word game.
You ain't got to say I'm sorry.
But if you point out that, like, okay, I was in error when I did that, then you acknowledging it. Like I'm as long as you acknowledge that you screwed up. However you say it, you don't have to come and get down on kiss the ring and all that. As long as you acknowledge that you screwed up, we good. But they all do it. So, like, I'm not defending Ryan because, like I said, They all do it. And sometimes they be spot on, and sometimes I'm like, y'all reaching. All of them. Right. It's been some times where Whitlock has been right, and I said, like, hey, you spot on. But when he ain't, so like when you right, you right. When you wrong, you wrong. RG3 consistently is always on the other side. But then you get mad when somebody calls you a cornball. But you consistently go out of your way to be on the other side. It's not even being objective.
What other side? What are you talking about?
You go always on your way to apologize for other people. You're never on people who go through the same struggles that you went through, people who look like you, people who went through the same stuff that your parents went through. You're never on that side. You feel like because you've gotten some kind of status and because you've reached some type of financial status, now you're better. And this doesn't apply. And maybe we're blowing it out of proportion. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not biased and prejudiced. Maybe I shouldn't be doing. Maybe they shouldn't be doing. It's always that.
You gotta give an example because I've never. He's always been on the black side.
No, he hadn't.
Give me an example.
He's always like he's always every time Stephen A. or anybody goes at him, it's because he's always saying like when he talked about the black quarterback thing. Like it's always like you're trying to reach to apologize for other people or let me be on this side. Oh, she clearly doesn't like this person.
Yeah, on the other side, only times I've seen RG3, he's always been on the side of recently the whole Dion stuff with Shador stuff. I've never seen him really on the other side, like caping for him like that. Like this would be the only, I think, example that you would be like, oh, he's on that other side. Everything else, I ain't seen. That's why I say give an example because I don't know.
With the stuff going on with Shannon Sharp, and like you used to be like, oh, he should be fired, and I got fired, but what they got to do with you?
What'd he say about Shannon?
No, like he should be fired. And if I ain't got a job, how he still got it? How is he still being employed by them? Like, again, what does that have to do with you? All I'm saying is he is consistently, and that is why he consistently gets called out. And even when him and Stephen A. was going back and forth a few weeks ago, it was because he felt like, oh, I'm being picked on and everything like that. And Stephen A. had to point out, no, it's because you constantly put yourself in these positions. And then you get mad at people's reactions to your takes or what you're saying. And you expect for people to be rocking with you. And we're not rocking with that.
Okay, so, but in this situation with Ryan Clark saying what
as I said, he is a cornball. He is a coon. He is consistently on the other side. Period.
So you agree with Ryan Clark?
I didn't say that. I said I don't agree with RG3. I think that sometimes Ryan Clark can be clickbaity. I think that sometimes he can, just like we all reach to get likes and stuff like that, I think that sometimes he can overblow it. Or if it's at an 8, I think he will push it to a 10. Sometimes it ain't even. Sometimes it's at a 6.5, but Ryan can kind of push it to a 10. Mm-hmm. All I was saying is that I'm not going to act like he's the only one that race baits. Now does he act like a slap on the wrist is like an ICU visit? Possibly. That's very possible. And there's been some times where I was like, okay, dude, it wasn't that serious. But is it wrong? Does he have a point? Is it any validity in it? And I can't say that it's always invalid. Are you exaggerating a little bit? Possibly. But is it invalid? Do you have a point? That's also true.
But he don't got a point, though. That's what I'm saying. So
I don't think that him having a white wife
what I'm saying,
has anything to do with
your dislike for RG3. When I just asked you a specific question about what Ryan Clark said about
it, don't have nothing to do with his wife.
Him not being able to empathize with a black woman because his wife is white.
I don't think he empathizes with black women because he wants to be white. It don't have nothing to do with his wife. I think he thinks he identifies, he's a transracial. I think he identifies as a white man, which is why he can't identify with any black person.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
I'm saying it.
Yeah,
and I don't give a damn if he blocked me. I ain't got no status right now. All of them can block me. What they eat don't make me shit. Like, at the end of the day, again, if I'm wrong, I don't have no problem saying I'm wrong. I don't have a problem saying I stand corrected. I don't have a problem saying, okay, when I said this, I was going off of this information. You presented some new information. I got to go research. I don't have no problem saying that. But at the same time, when black people be wrong, I don't have no problem saying niggas is wrong. I don't have no problem saying that when people need to go to jail, they need to go to jail. At the same time, when we get done wrong, I'm not trying to make excuses for why we got done wrong. And that's all I'm saying. What I've consistently seen RG3 do is make excuses for why we get treated a certain way, why stuff happens to us, why things are the way they are. And it's never just, that's wrong and that shouldn't happen. Now, I don't think that he doesn't empathize with black women because of his wife is white.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with it. I just don't think he empathizes with black people, period.
Okay. But my thing is, with a situation which I think you talk about with other women, you can't continue to bring up past stuff when you're talking about something specific about what somebody just did and then bring up that you feel a certain way about him because of what he did later. I'm talking about this specific situation. Because just like a woman would be like, oh, she'll treat a dude this way because of what other dudes did with her in the past. They ain't got nothing to do with what, like, somebody that I don't like or that I don't prefer even spiritually can be right sometimes. I may not like them. I may not like, you know what I'm saying, the context that they come with it most of the time. But in a particular situation, if they right, they right. And so what I'm saying with RG3 is, forget all this other stuff. Even if I talk about Jason Whitlock. Oh, ask a specific question about this. I don't care about what happened in the past. I don't care what his perception is to the public. It's just this particular question. Like, that's pretty much what I wanted. Like, however you feel like, do I think RG3 can be a little corny? Yeah, personally. I think he can be. But, you know what I'm saying? On this particular point, I think that, you know what I'm saying, Ryan Clark didn't do himself give himself any credit, and definitely gave RG3 more ammunition to put more content out there to do what he do, to get more clicks, to get more likes, because Ryan Clark decided to talk about this man's wife, and he was white. And Ryan Clark, actually, his first marriage, he married a white woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people so stuff like that, to where in this particular situation, I'm just like, Ryan Clark disappointed me because he didn't keep it, hey, I just don't like his take because, I think he's a little corny, or I just think he's wrong. He tried to go deep into the pivot mode and be like, well, he don't know how to empathize with a black woman because he's married a white woman. Like, to me, that's super lazy. That's you trying to be like intellectual, you know what I'm saying, goes wrong because you're not, it has nothing to do with any of that, which what he tried to marry, whether he married a white woman. I think she's from overseas or something. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think that again, the point that he made was right. The why was wrong. I think that the why was wrong. And I said that. I don't think that is irrelevant. Him being married to whoever, he could be married to somebody purple. That's irrelevant. But I was saying that he don't empathize with anybody black. Male, female, child, whoever. The point that I was making,
you talking about
RG3, and the point that I was going back, all I was saying is that is consistent. And you talk about your woman bringing up past stuff. Yes, it is wrong for a woman to compare me to somebody else. But it's not wrong if she's roasting me for cheating on her. And I cheated on her last week. And I cheated on her 6 months ago. And I cheated on her last year. And I cheated on her 5 years ago. And then I cheat again. And then she's bringing up. That's just on brand. That ain't bringing up old stuff. That's character. That's consistency. That's what I do. So if she says that ain't bringing up old stuff. That's what I'm consistently doing. So when I'm talking about RG3, I'm just talking about a consistency, or even when I reference Whitlock, I'm just talking about a consistency of behavior to where now when I'm looking at it, I'm not surprised because that's what you always do. I would have been more shocked if he had actually said that the stuff is overblown and people like I would have had to take back a lot of stuff I said about RG3. Like that probably would have generated. You want to get some clicks? That would have generated some clicks. Like you ain't. I mean, you might as well put all your energy into podcasting because you ain't finna be on TV no time soon. I mean, because they don't want you. It's not because you're corny. Corny means one of the definitions of corny is unoriginal, or it means you're trying to copy. The reason why they don't want you is because you're not authentic. It's not authentic. That's why they don't want you. Because we got buttoned up, polished black dudes on TV. But RG3 is not authentic. You're not righteous. So we don't want, like, we would rather deal with a loudmouth Stephen A. Smith or all the way right wing Jason Whitlock, because at least we believe that they believe what they're saying. Like you don't even really believe what you're saying. You're just trying to say what you think will get you in a position and move the needle. You say it with no conviction. You say it with no passion. It's just a hot take.
I would agree with that. Like,
that's all. And I'm not saying that Ryan Clark's point was overblown. Like I said, he can exaggerate. He can make a 6 or 10. I wasn't disagreeing or disputing it. And I'm not even saying the take that he made because he's married. It don't matter who you're married to. That's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. The point I would have made is that he don't empathize with no black, and that's all I was saying. He don't empathize with no black people. And I wasn't defending Ryan Clark as much as it was.
Hey, you slick was.
No, I wouldn't. No, when you asked me about what I thought about, no, I wasn't defending him. Because, like I clearly said that he overblows stuff.
The only reason I said you were defending him because I asked you a specific question about what Ryan Clark said about RG3, and you start getting on RG3 instead of addressing what I was asking.
Because
about
I don't think about what Ryan Clark said. Because like I said, what he said wasn't valid. So I'm dealing with what RG3 said. I don't give a damn about what Ryan Clark said because it wasn't valid. That has nothing to do with anything. And that is the point that I was making. You talking about him being married to a white woman and how you pointed out. Your first child is from a white woman. The reason why you married a white woman is because you were living in a town and in a place to where that's what you had a baby with somebody. That's what you did. You got married to him. So and I understand the context and all of that. But let's not act like big you, little me. You did the same thing. You was married to a white woman too. So that definitely look at the pot meeting the kettle. If we gonna do that. So the point about him not being able to empathize because he's married to a white woman is irrelevant because that is not true. He could be married to 100 white women. That ain't got nothing to do with his empathy with black women because as you pointed out, he got black sisters, he got a black mama, he got black aunties, he got black grandparents. So he's been around black women. So him being able to empathize with black women because but to the same token, just because you're around black women don't mean that you can empathize with them either.
Yeah.
Empathy is a choice.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
and that's all I was saying. He does not choose to empathize with anybody black.
Now I see. I really see how you feel about RG3 now, which I did not know. And for me,
phenomenal football player, phenomenal mind, very intelligent person, black, white, otherwise. He's probably one of the smartest people when he walks into a lot of rooms. If it wasn't for injuries, he would have had a way better career. I just don't rock with how he thinks.
Now, this is what I think about RG3 because I didn't even put this in the thing. I wasn't even thinking about RG3 as my personal feelings. I was just going off of what was been presented and what I'm saying, what was on the docket here. But RG3, I think RG3 is I think he oversteps sometimes to you can tell that he's trying to go after the clicks. Sometimes I do think he kind of gets a little too outlandish because I think that's kind of where a lot of people think he's corny at because he looked like he's trying to be over exaggerating and doing stuff like that. But when people like Ryan Clark say what they say, they're giving him more of a platform to continue to be the way he's always been. And so, for me personally, like I said, I rock with Jason Whitlock more times than not, just because one of the reasons he stands on what he stands on. And I actually think he believes it. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that he believes
I believe that he believes it. RG3, I think he goes with the wind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? With the Shador thing, the Coach Prime thing, he on that now. Now, I was kind of surprised that he did say what he said about Angel Reese and Clark, that he kind of, because for me, he's kind of always kind of been on that other side, to kind of been behind kind of black folks in a sense, the last takes that I've seen him. So I thought this was a little bit kind of out his wheelhouse than what he's been lately. But yeah, so that's it. That is what it is. All right, this next one here, man. Let's get into this Diddy trial a little bit, man.
Then let's just don't let the Diddy trial get in you.
Yeah, like I got some questions about this Diddy trial because two things. I want to know where it's exactly going, because if you're keeping up with the trial and you're keeping up with the statements, you're keeping up with Cassie. I think her mom was on the stand. I think one of Diddy's old bodyguards or something was on the stand. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, like, this is like, it's like an erotica book. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I saw somebody on social media that, man, I got to stop looking at this trial. It's turning me on or something. You know what I'm saying? It was your boy Marlo, I think it was.
Oh yeah, no.
I think, you know what I'm saying. And so, like, but I got what he was saying, because it's like, I've never seen a freaky trial like this in all the times. And so now it's just like, but this is the same dude that they raided his house like he was Tony Montana in Miami, in L.A., and probably in New York too. So what I'm thinking is like, so you going through this man's houses like this for this? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, either this trial is going to pivot and go another way, and they got a lot more witnesses to go, that it's going to turn. But it's like, you did all of this just so we could know that somebody put some nut on his nipples, and that he likes baby oil, and that, you know what I'm saying, he ecstasy and does other, you know what I'm saying? And so, which is, to me, it's almost like, either you're tearing, like, this is a layer by layer. You're tearing this man down just to strip him at the end of the other stuff for racketeering and trafficking, or it's just like, you're doing a horrible job, because I'm sure you just didn't go raid this man's houses on two coasts just to be like, you know what I'm saying, like, we knew this nigga was like freaky. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. It's a lot of other stuff to say. I think you actually asked about Cassie, whether she was a whatever victim or not.
Yeah, we could, I guess, go to that one next. But
yeah,
dude, not to the point about ecstasy. As somebody who's taking ecstasy, no comment. I would just say best night ever. And I'm not actively looking for any ecstasy or anything.
Yeah,
like
we don't
that,
need no ecstasy now. We don't need.
No,
that.
I mean, hey, that was,
they put fentanyl and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Now. When I took it, like, it wasn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody using fentanyl.
Ecstasy is different nowadays.
Right, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Unless you go straight to the source.
Right, yeah, no, I'm not looking for no ecstasy, no MDMA, none of that.
Unless you going straight to the source.
But now, like, this is really about humiliation. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do, because they're talking about RICO. Like, where's the guns? Where's the illegal money? Where's the drug? Like, and the only drugs are like drugs that they personally use. So, like, we ain't talking about, like you said, Tony Montana. Like, we ain't talking about him moving weight. We just talking about him using, drugs, popping pills. Maybe snorting cocaine or whatever. Like,
one of the bodyguards didn't bring up some of the guns, or something like that, right, with him and Suge Knight or something. I mean,
but like you're talking about guns that are personal use type guns. Like, we're not talking about military grade weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that Nick Cage movie, Lord of War? Like, we ain't talking about guns like that. We talking about guns that you would have at your house to protect yourself or whatever. You talking about a RICO case, like RICO stuff, like that's how they shut down the mob. Mm-hmm. Like you're talking about, you got tentacles that reach in all types of illegal businesses and things of that nature, which this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, I feel like you got your nigga wake up call, as Paul Mooney would say. Like you thought, because you made a certain amount of money and you had this status and people looked at you a certain way, but you realized you did not have the complexion for the protection, for the collection, because the collection is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's still gonna be worth, after all this is over with. He probably still gonna be worth a couple of $100 million. He ain't got to live a regular life no more. But in terms of your, it is a big ass difference between $100 millionaire and a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, when you, it's a big ass difference between somebody who got $100 million and somebody who got over 5.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you're in a totally different space. So like, you're trying to take on a company, a multi-billion-dollar company, old money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking about going back 6-7 generations worth of money, and they got to show you who you're dealing with. Because again, this ain't been, because like you said, everything that you're waiting to see what's going on, and all of this is doing is just humiliating this man.
This is 2025. So let's say we go back to 1845 and bring it back up to today, 2025. This is like a lynching, but like in 2025, because they're putting you up in public, they're putting all these witnesses, they spreading all your business, text messages, whatever. So they're stripping you in front of everybody to be like, hey, you see what we did to this nigga right here? You know what I'm saying? Don't try it. You know what I'm saying? Like da-da-da-da. So I see that, but then I'm just like, I'm thinking at some point the trial is going to have to pivot if they're really going to make their case to why they raided all his, you know what I'm saying, his properties and stuff like that.
But let's just think about it. Like, what they did was Michael Jackson's career ever the same?
After
the
Neverland?
in the 90s.
Nah.
No, like now he still, he put out a, tour or whatever, but like it was humiliation.
Before, after, I think that was after he did Remember the Time.
Right.
When they did all the stuff, right?
Because the Remember the Time video, that's when Eddie Murphy was dressed up like Coming to America.
Yeah.
Like, you talking about
that,
the early 90s?
Yeah, after that it was
like, so now so everything was more nostalgia. It wasn't like you dropping some new stuff and everybody like, it's all nostalgia. It's all playing the old hits, right? Like, look at Cosby. Like, and I was watching an interview with Joe Brown, and Joe Brown, Flatfoot said like, he got railroaded.
Yeah. You talking about Mike?
No. He was talking about Bill Cosby. He said he got railroaded.
Yeah, okay.
He said the situation that happened, he said all of them women, it was a casting couch situation. He said all of them, he said if you go back and look, he said how all of y'all got headshots, like glamour shots.
Yeah.
Like every single one, like y'all was trying to get on. And you tried to use what you had to get something, but your acting wasn't as good as whatever, and it didn't produce what you thought it was going to produce, so now we got to get you.
Yeah.
But again, and so now you take it to court, and they even come out like, and Bill Cosby said, oh, they told me if you just acknowledge it, you'll be out in a week. It's like, I'm not finna acknowledge something I didn't do. And so again, but was his career the same afterwards? Like after this shit, because he was already looked at as the angry black man, but like after the Hannibal Buress joke in 2014 and all of that, it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So now you look at this situation.
So you think Diddy didn't do it?
No, of course. Like in terms of like all the stuff with Cassie, no, he's guilty as shit.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying, but this ain't worthy of a RICO. It really ain't. It's really only worthy of the civil stuff that she got from him.
Yeah. It's
not even worth us talking about. Like what are we really finding out that we already didn't suspect or wasn't already open secrets in Hollywood anyway? But it's just humiliating him. Yeah. Because it's a lot of dudes that's looking at you, even women too. Like, you want them to pull out of her and skeet on it, like, it's like some gay men that's like,
Yeah. And that's my thing. To like, I'm assuming because I heard they're trying to be done with this trial by July, so they still got time to bring more witnesses and pivot to something else, but
not for a RICO though.
You know what I'm saying? I just wonder, and honestly, and just, it makes me, you know how when you listen like with R. Kelly, when R. Kelly went to jail and stuff like that, when you start back hearing his other songs, you know what I'm saying? You just you listen to it with different ears. You know what I'm saying? And like even with Diddy, it was One More Chance that came on. You know what I'm saying with Biggie, and I think it was the last verse, "Sex and You" while your man masturbates. Then Diddy, you like different. You know what I'm saying? Like different stuff that you hear and listen to, and you just like, put you in a different mind frame. Comically, that is like, but I'm just still wondering, like, after everybody does their interviews, I think the girl from, what's that group from the Making the Band, Audrey?
Diddy Dirty Money.
Yeah. So I think they're coming up next to do some witness talks and statements and stuff like that. So, I just like it's more of a book of erotica and what what I'm saying, how nasty he is, rather than you trying to prove that he's this big schemer that's with this racketeering and trafficking.
Again, what does that have to do with a RICO case? Like you said, this is just erotica stuff. It's a
book.
And so again, like I said, when black people be wrong, I'm gonna point it out. One thing I hate, because I've seen it, everybody's like, oh, Hugh Hefner was able to do it. Y'all ain't say nothing about Hugh. And this person, okay, Hugh Hefner ain't no different than Bishop Don Magic Wand or Pimpin' Ken from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Like, that's it. He just made it glamorous. And we knew it. He was not trying to pose like I'm just a regular businessman. I'm a playboy. Hugh Hefner is walking around in a fucking robe in a glass, probably like what I got, with some yak in it.
Yeah.
And a woman on each arm. And before they had Viagra, whatever he was taking it before they had Viagra. Cause and the nigga looked the same age, like he had to be like 70 his whole life. Cause I ain't seen not a damn picture of him where he didn't have gray hair. Like the nigga was an old man in the 60s. But he was selling sex. That was his thing. I am selling sex. I got the bunny ranch. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his thing. He was selling sex. So I'm not surprised or tripping when I'm looking at Hugh Hefner and his whole thing, because that's what it was. You, on the other hand, and I'm not saying Diddy's not selling sex or whatever, but to compare two people, and this ain't got nothing to do, Hugh Hefner been dead for years. Okay? This is not apples to apples. And I hate that when we get caught for some dumb shit, the first thing that we do, instead of saying I didn't do it, instead of saying they picking on me, instead of saying I'm being railroaded, instead of saying I got regrets and I shouldn't have done certain things, the first thing we do is oh, y'all ain't say nothing to that person. And y'all the type of niggas that show up to work late and be talking about when somebody else come in late. Y'all the type of niggas that be half-ass doing your job and be mad when somebody else get a raise. Yeah. Y'all the type of niggas that got these badass kids that's tearing up the city and embarrassing you all damn day. But the first thing you want to say when your child get arrested or shot is you want to talk about somebody else's kids. And we don't take accountability and responsibility for our own shit. So is Diddy a horrible person? 100% emphatically, yes. Is he a freak? Definitely. Would I ever drink after him? Hell fucking no. Okay, like if I'm ever at one of his residences and I get out the shower and his baby oil will be ashy, like y'all just gonna be checking me. I'm just gonna be ashy that day. Fortunately for me, I keep cocoa butter in the car, so I'm straight. But I'm not using nothing over it. I'm not touching nothing. Do you ever watch this show Alex Cross on Prime? Nigga, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. It's better than any other movies they ever made. Word. It's way better than Tyler Perry as Alex Cross.
That's the
dude, Aldous Hodge, he played as
came to my mind when
you ever seen Black Adam?
Yeah.
The dude that played as Hawkman in Black Adam.
Okay.
He's playing Alex. Like, it is the best. He kills it.
Okay.
But one of the killers in Alex Cross, the way he got to people when they came over to his crib, when they touched something, so what he would do was put the drugs like on the glass or on the door handle. And so, like, one chick, she was real germophobic. So when she walked in, she saw some hand sanitizer. So she put this hand sanitizer on, whatever. And so he tried to offer her a drink, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm not finna drink. You know what? I'm finna leave." And then he told us like, "Oh, it don't matter." He said, "I didn't put anything in the drink." He said, "I know you're a germaphobe." He's like, "You've been drugged since you walked in. The hand sanitizer." And he was like, he got like, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm not using nothing in Diddy house. Okay? But at the end of the day, this is not no Rico shit.
Not yet.
We are sitting up here, and again, the man
Not
act,
yet.
they're trying to use that. And if we're being honest, if you've been alive for any number of years, if you've been an adult, if you didn't wait until you got married, it's a lot of times you went across state lines to get some ass or to get your ass up. It's a lot of chicks that you went to college with, and they stayed in other towns like, "Oh, you back? I'm gonna come visit you in Memphis." And you know what? You took them to dinner. You might have took them to see a movie. They could say that's payment. You might have put gas in their car. They got to drive back to Nashville.
No.
You didn't gas it. They could say that's payment. Like, if we really be like, what are we really saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like that. That's essentially what you're saying. Anytime you go to visit somebody out of town, if y'all have sex and if money is exchanged or some type of payment is exchanged or any type, like, what are we really saying? So, but you're saying that somebody who he had already an established sexual relationship with. How can I traffic you and we're already dealing with each other? It's not like I bought you from somebody or I got you off a website or something. Like, we deal with each other. When I come back in town, you who I'm with, we're on camera with each other. We got a public relationship. But because we go out of town, it's trafficking? Like, y'all don't have no shit on me so much to the point that y'all got to make up some shit to make me guilty?
And that's my thing. Like, you don't, to raid his house the way they did on both coasts like that, that takes power, that takes money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so this is my point.
Like billionaire type money?
Yeah. So I'm just like, I get it. Everything that's been coming out is content information, it's embarrassing information, but then I'm just thinking they got something else under their sleeve in the fourth quarter to spin this or pivot the whole thing, because right now, like I said, this just looking like a modern day lynching. Like, they just holding them up and being like, can you imagine him? Can you imagine him going to jail with all this stuff that's been out? Yeah. He putting semen on his nipples. Like, what dudes would be like in there? You know what I'm saying? Like, getting on them for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to me, this is just an embarrassing thing. And so I'm just like, when me going through, I'm just like, what's the point, but it's like, it's the same thing every day.
No, he's going to get off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, more than he got off with them freak offs, but no. No, I don't think he's going to do any jail time other than what he's already done. Yeah. I think he's probably going to have to pay some more money.
For sure, Dad.
And, of course, he's going to damn near having to pay his lawyers. But, again, if this is going to be over with in July, go look up some RICO trials. Go look up John Gotti. Go look up a lot of those mob figures, you know what I'm saying, of the 5 families in New York when they were running things. Like, this stuff took years. It was not no 2-3 months. Like, that stuff took years. You know what I'm saying? The OJ trial took a year. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like so you're done in 2 months? Like, that means it's really, like you said, that the only difference is, yes, that they're hanging him and they're cutting his balls off in front of everybody. Yeah, but the only thing is he's not going to die. He's got to walk around now, and everybody knows that he got this big ass rope burn around his neck, and he has no testicles anymore.
But think about this. Just giving Diddy, forget anything else. Diddy gonna die, but it's gonna be his public profile.
No, what I was saying,
like,
that's what I mean.
That's the death.
No, I mean, like, when you said public lynching, like, back then a public lynching, you would physically die. Mm-hmm. I was saying he's not gonna physically die.
Yeah, not physically.
Right, but now but now everywhere you go, they're gonna be able to see this rope burn. You're gonna wear it. So everything they talking about in this trial, like you talk about people knowing, nobody's ever gonna forget that.
No, it's
and then also now you got your balls cut off too. So now, what does that mean? The power that you had, the sway that you had, when you stepped into a room and you could get stuff because of who you were. Like, now that goes away. I mean, now it's gonna be some people that's happy to take a picture, get an autograph, whatever. But
Yeah.
whereas you could just go into any the del frescoes or I mean, for lack of a better choice, of like whatever is better than the Ruth Chris, like the places where you can't get in there unless you got a reservation. But he could walk in and say, "Hey," or they be like, "Oh shit, it's Puffy. We got a table for you, sir." Like them days over with. And that's what I mean. Like when your balls cut off, like you used to be able to go in anywhere, and because of who you were,
Yeah.
they didn't like they're gonna make room for you now. You become just like the rest of us.
So we're saying no more.
He got his nigga wake up call.
Brother Love. No more Brother Love from
no more
Diddy.
love for Brother Love.
Ain't no. I was thinking Buddy Love, but Nutty Professor. I'm
Yeah,
thinking Buddy
but
Love.
no, I mean, like I said, it's an embarrassment. It's a humiliation. It's a humiliation ritual. That's what you get for trying to go up against the people who backed. Like you tried to go up against what? Again, to quote my nigga Omar for the Wire. You remember in season 1 after he killed old boy and him and Weebay, when she shot Weebay in the leg, she said, "Hey, listen here, bae. You come for the king. You best not miss. You went for the king." And I don't think it was a coincidence that when you get ready to sue them, that all of a sudden, I wouldn't have put it past them that somebody was like, you know what? Cassie probably met some chick at the gym randomly. It's like, oh, you used to be with. It's so sad what he did. If that was me, I would have sued him. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody had to put, because it was just convenient that right as he gets ready to sue them, then all of a sudden he gets hit with a civil trial from her. Like, you think that's random? You don't think that because like if they got that kind of pull and that kind of sway, what's reaching somebody who in Florida and you be at the gym all the time working out? Like they ain't got to do nothing but push a button, make a phone call. And then once they saw his response to that, he gonna settle? He ain't gonna try to fight it? Oh, okay. Oh, now we know how to get you. Well, we ain't even worried about this lawsuit you finna do with us. You gonna be so tied up and fooling with your own bullshit, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing to us.
Now, I hate Diddy, pun intended, being the butt of all the jokes. Literally, he gonna be the butt of all the jokes over the next decade plus. And so that's what made me think, because I'm just like, as interesting as all this stuff is, the erotica stuff, and you just kind of like, golly, like all this stuff happened, the nut on the nipples and all this stuff. It's just like, it's literally stripping him away of his most valuable asset over the years, which Diddy's always been a public persona. He's always been a guy that's been rock the vote back in 2004, 2008 with Obama, and all the stuff that he always did at Howard, all the parties he used to throw, the stuff he used to do out in front, the corporate sponsors and all this stuff. Diddy was literally a public image with Ciroc, with all these, like he was literally on our TV. He had the 4 with DJ Khaled and a couple other people, so he was literally a public face and a public image for decades. And so they're stripping all of this away to me right now in this Diddy trial. But I don't see how that lends to the racketeering and stuff charges, which they're going to have to pivot, or maybe this is their plan for set 1 to strip, and then they're going to have multiple trials to do the other stripping of the other areas. So we going to have to see how this go. But
I mean, like I said, if this joint going to be done in July, trust and believe.
That's what I heard.
It's not that they're not even the rating. You got to remember, because again, if he's coming against them 9 times out of 10, some of those executives, some of those people, they probably was at those parties.
Oh, definitely.
And he got cameras all over the property.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's been reported that he liked to record people, and he probably go back and watch and pleasure himself watching other people do their business. Mm-hmm. So ain't no telling who's on those camera footage.
That's what the testimony said.
You see what I'm saying? And so the reason of the raids and all of that is we're trying to make sure, because you don't know who was in there. You don't know what politicians, what billionaires, multimillionaires, Fortune 500 CEOs, like these are the people who he was rubbing elbows with. So now we got to embarrass you publicly in front of everybody. But again, the purpose of those raids and everything, we got to make sure because those people he was trying to sue, they got friends too.
Yep.
And you got to remember what happened in West New Jack City. Remember what Nino Brown said, like, "Oh, if I go down, it's a lot of people going down. It's big. It's bigger than Sean Combs."
Oh yeah.
So he probably was gonna try to he probably
Way
was in a position like, "Oh, okay, y'all gonna finna get me. I'm finna take all y'all asses down." So they have to embarrass and humiliate him in a way, because you see, like, even his family had to leave the room because they weren't aware of the depravity of some of his actions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we gonna embarrass you in front of your mom and your kids, but like he is being publicly humiliated.
He getting stripped.
So that like when you go through a death like that, you ain't got to go to jail. That's a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
No, we gonna let you be out to where now you still got to be moving around how you move around. You still gonna be flying to places and being seen and being spotted.
Yeah.
We want you to have to deal with now. People are not in awe of you, but now they're mocking you, and you got to deal with that.
Yeah, and two, you got to think about too. The hip hop community is more forgiving in a sense. Like people like Fat Joe, they've been kicking with him for years, but now you can't be seen because like you got corporate sponsors now. They got their platforms, they got their podcast now. Him and Joe and Jada, and you know what I mean, and other businesses that they got going. So it's like, hey.
Can't be seen.
I still fool with you, but
mm-hmm.
I can't be courtside with you at this game. I can't be seen with you at these events. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting, bro. It's gonna be interesting. But I still think he gonna get some time or so. For some reason, it's gonna pivot. I don't know how or when, but I'm just like, they spent too much money to raid and do all the stuff that they did with the military force, with the Hummers and stuff, bringing up to just kind of let it go kind of the way it's going. Like, it's embarrassing, it's interesting, and nasty at the same time. But we'll see. Let's get into these NBA playoffs.
Hold up.
What's up?
So, is Cassie, do you think, is Cassie a victim?
I think yes and no. I think she is a victim just because of the age piece of it. Because if you look at when her and Diddy got together, she was still super young, trying to get on, trying to get in the industry and doing all this stuff. And so, as we know, as men, especially when you're older like that and have that much power and influence, you can prey on women of that age to do certain things and to get them to do things that they say they like, but they really don't, but they really saying they like it because they're trying to be with you or impress you. On the other side, I say she's not a victim because at the end of the day, she was grown, she was over 21, and so it was mutual in a lot of different ways in what they did and the way that she was communicating with him, you know what I'm saying, lends to her not being the victim. But on the other end, I don't think you can negate the part where you got to put that age, because as men, especially somebody as probably charismatic as Diddy, as much power and money that he has, you got to know that influenced her to a degree to where he probably manipulated her in the beginning, and then it ended up, her kind of going with the flow and maybe starting to like it or something. But so that's why I say yes and no. I don't think it's a definitive no, she's not a victim, because there's no way that somebody at Diddy's age and then Cassie being as old as she was when they first met and got into the game and music and all this stuff, to where she was, I think, a victim in the beginning. Did she end as a victim? I don't think so. But I think in the beginning part, I would say, yeah. What say you?
You cannot be a victim in a situation that you helped to foster.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having this conversation because her career didn't pan out the way she thought it was going to be. And I've said this before. Now, keep in mind, I put R. Kelly and Diddy and Harvey Weinstein all in the same boat. But I will say a common thread that a lot of them had, like, Um, your girl Candace was talking about Harvey. Like a lot of those women, it wasn't no assault. Like those women knew Harvey was a hoe. They were trying to advance their career.
Yeah.
Some of y'all acting wasn't all that good. So them Oscars didn't follow. Now all of a sudden, oh, he had sex with me and that. But that's what you wanted. So to your point, and I'll quote the old Bill Withers song: "Keep on using me until you use me up." You saw. And now, granted, is there some charisma involved? Yes. Is there some cachet because of what he has and all of that? Definitely. But
Diddy was the guy.
you saw a way to advance your career. You thought that you were going to benefit because of this relationship. And unfortunately, and I'm not gonna say she had a hit song.
Got a couple of them.
Other than Me and You, I don't remember another one.
She
I
had
remember
one.
the Me and You song.
Yeah, I can't think of the name, but she had.
Yeah, no, I remember Me and You. I don't remember like that, but that's like I don't remember any other one.
I think that was the bigger one, but she had like another one too. Let me see.
But and I don't mean that was out. I mean like a hit. Like I mean, Me and You was like a hit.
Right.
Like she had some other songs that came out, but like Me and You was the song that kind of popped for her.
Yeah, that was the main one.
But outside of that, you got looked at as kind of a one hit wonder. You know, one trick pony. Like that's your only move. And so still though, you're thinking that because of this relationship, I can benefit. When you saw my career isn't gonna take off the way I think it's gonna take off, now it's like, well, at least I can be Mrs. Combs. By extension, you know, all I got to do is get pregnant, have a kid, I'm set. So again, part of it is using him to get what you want. Now, again, is he a horrible person? Definitely. Borderline evil, probably. I don't. Whatever he's getting, if it's just, he deserves it. I mean, now, like I said, don't be trying to say he murdered somebody and he didn't. But like, if he getting hit for assault or whatever, and he did that, he need to get whatever the consequences is for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no sympathy for him, but at the same time, it irks me when you have people who put themselves in a situation. And I was looking at one of the transcripts of the court readings, and it was like when he moved, you were still staying in another state. You followed him. How am I a victim and I follow you? Like, you know who's victims? Those kids in those African countries where they're being kidnapped as children and forced to be child soldiers. Those are victims. Because they don't have a choice. And they get trained in a way of thinking that a child doesn't think. Right? Like, that's a victim.
But on the other side, too, when you look at that, you've seen things, and I've heard other mental health people saying, like, a lot of those people in those situations, they don't think they have any other choice but to go because that's all they know. That's their, even though it may be torn or a bad situation, that's pretty much what they know because that's where they know they're getting kind of fed at or whatever with that. So I give her, like I said, I don't think she's a total, like, I think she's definitely not a victim like that, but I do think some shades of it.
And again, you talking about a woman who had her mom and her dad there.
Yeah.
So you came from a 2-parent household. So you don't have daddy issues. And I'm not saying like you might have some, but what I'm saying is, I just think we live in an age now where we make excuses for why people don't do the right thing. Yeah. Every time somebody does some bullshit, we got an excuse. Oh, well, they grew up this way or what, like, so. And I said this to I was talking to an older gentleman. I said this, like, my mom and dad are bad with their time. Like, they was always, now to work, they was on time for work, but anywhere else they was always running late and running late. Like, so now one could say, oh, Rochelle, you be running behind because of how you was brought up, how you was raised. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with now 40, like, nigga, that ain't got nothing to do with Rochelle and Teresa. The reason why I be late is either because if I'm not working or not doing anything like that, and ultimately it all boils down to poor time management. But it's generally, I feel like I can do more than what I can do in the allotted time. I feel like I can get this done. I can be productive. And what ends up happening is now I get caught up. Now I'm rushing. That ain't got nothing to do with Rosha and Teresa. Prior to me being 18, I could blame my mom and dad. I'm late because my mom and dad was late and da-da-da. Once I got to where I wasn't living in their house and I was making my own decisions, it ain't on them no more. But now what this society and what this age tries to do is they'll try to make an excuse for me being late instead of me owning and saying, you know what? I probably shouldn't have tried to get my clothes for tomorrow ready and I got to be at work now. I should have just went to work and when I got off, get my clothes ready. Or take another day where I'm not working and just get my clothes ready for the whole week. So I ain't got to be trying to rush on a day. But I'm trying to do, I got an extra 5 minutes. Let me do this. But it's going to take me 15 minutes to do that. So, but see, what happens is now, and like to your point, it's like, oh, well, she was only 25. She was only 21. No, she saw an opportunity. Like, at what point do we see opportunities? Because one thing I know for sure, two things for certain. $100 on the ground, you at 43, you gonna pick that motherfucker up. But guess what? You at 25, you to pick that motherfucker up. But guess what? EJ and Toby, if they saw $100 on the ground at what, 9 and 7, 8 and 6, they gonna pick that motherfucker. So it don't matter. You're gonna do what's in you to, like, you recognize an opportunity. She recognized an opportunity.
Oh, yeah,
now,
for sure.
Was she aware of how deep that well ran? Probably not.
Yeah.
But you saw an opportunity. You thought you was going to use a situation. That situation ended up using you. So, like, if I decide to rob a store and then as I'm leaving, as I'm fleeing, I get shot by the police, even though I might have put my gun down, I'm not a victim. Because if I wasn't robbing that store, I'm not in a position where the police got their guns drawn on me. I put myself in a dumbass situation. Now, granted, they might have been overzealous. But let's go all the way back. If I'm not robbing that store, I'm not in that position. Cassie, you're embarrassing your husband and your mom and dad and your kids. But if you're not trying to take advantage of the Diddy situation, you ain't getting plowed by all these sex workers and being put in uncomfortable positions and being drugged out of your mind and all of that. Like you saw an opportunity.
Oh, yeah, she
You know what I'm saying? And now again, and guess what? Because it's a lot of people that made it. We ain't hearing their stories. You know why? Because they plan worked. That they married the CEO. You know what I'm saying? Or they got the record deal. Or they won the Oscar. So they ain't saying shit. Because like I said, I've said this before. You know who didn't have nothing to say about Harvey Weinstein? Meryl Streep. But guess what? Meryl Streep got 3 Oscars. Meryl Streep is like one of the GOATs in acting. She ain't said shit because it worked. And I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying, but she worked in a lot of his films and stuff. But her talent rose to the top. But now you got some people that's like, I don't necessarily have all the talent. I might have a look. I might be bubbling for a minute. I'm gonna try to take advantage of this situation. And did she get taken? Definitely. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. It's sick what she went through.
But also another thing that really makes her a victim, which all this stuff is consolidated into, is when she got beat up at the hotel. That what makes her, to a lot of people, even though all the stuff that she did was you know what I'm saying, was mutual and all that stuff, what we saw what Diddy did to her at the hotel breaks everything to where now people are going to think like she's a victim. Now if we didn't see that video, if we didn't see her get beat upside the head and we just saw this information, we'll be like, hey,
does context
you know what
matter?
I'm saying? Context always matters. Context matters.
Because I'm not. You're right. That video looks horrible.
Oh, it's bad.
And without context,
It's
again,
bad.
Diddy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Now, so it don't matter to do hypotheticals in that situation, but this idea that anybody is free from an ass whooping. you have small children, male, female, whoever. If somebody was doing some Daystar stuff to one of your children, you gonna talk about it? You gonna pray about it? You go to church. You're a man of God.
Yeah.
You work in your ministry.
Yeah.
What would Apostle Wade say? Are you gonna talk about it? Male, female, whoever. Are you going to sit down and have a conversation? And somebody's doing some unspeakable acts to your children.
I'll talk after.
If somebody is hurting your wife, are you going to talk about it? You walk in and you see something, are you going to talk about it?
Yeah.
And so, like, let's not go to that extreme. Yeah. Let's say you come home and somebody's don't live here, breaking in your stuff, going rifling through your stuff. Are you going to talk about it in that moment?
Right.
Now, I'm not justifying, like, again, personally, I feel like I can restrain somebody without doing that. I feel like I can remove you from my space without doing that. But we don't have any context, and no context was provided. Right. All we see is the outcome.
Yeah.
And so now, on the one hand, I can say that that's bullshit what happened, but then I can also say, well, why did that happen? And so to your point, talking afterwards, in the moment, I can say, man, that's fucked up. But then once we get out the moment, what caused that? What was that about? What now again, and I'm not saying it's right, but if she pulls if she pulls a gun on him, does that change? Does that change? Because check this out. You know she's suing, and the hotel is settling with her for $10 million, right? Because they released that.
Yeah.
So now, if you're suing them, then that means y'all wasn't supposed to, because I would be happy if I feel like I've been violated. I'd be happy that it got put out. But obviously, I'm suing you because I'm not happy that this got put out. And the reason why it being is because you done fucked up you done fucked up my relationship with my husband. My life is now never gonna be the same. Like, I was starting to get my own life again, and now every time somebody sees me, I can't, just like Diddy went through this, I can't escape this now. It's nothing it's just like Monica Lewinsky. It's nothing you can do that people are not going to put you with this situation.
Yeah.
And so, again, I just think that, and I'm not saying he's right, I'm just saying this idea that because I'm black, anytime somebody white does something, they're wrong. That's bullshit. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Because it's a woman. You shouldn't do a woman like that. You shouldn't do a black woman like that. I think that regardless, people, human beings, when you do fucked up shit, the reaction is going to be fucked up sometimes. You don't want that fucked up reaction? Stop putting yourself in fucked up situations. Now, and I'm not speaking of situations where you don't have no control over, where you minding your business, somebody come and assault you. I'm not talking about stuff like that. It's a lot of times we put ourselves in situations or around people. And when it's when the result is something that we don't like, now all of a sudden I'm outraged.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that had she won a Grammy, if she was still in R&B, or if her career had pivoted into where she was an actress now and in movies and stuff like that, we even be having this conversation. Because you know who they ain't interviewing and talking about? J-Lo.
Oh, yeah.
Because her stuff. Because guess what? She used Diddy too. But hers worked. Boosted her celebrity a little bit. It was provocative. Hers worked. She got nominated for an Oscar in the movie Hustlers a couple of years back. Hers worked. Cassie is an example of what our old segment, when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think that I see it on both sides. You know what I mean? Just because of, but the overall narrative is that video up there. Because when you say, when it comes to Diddy, is Cassie a victim? Most people are gonna think about that video. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff that's happening in the courtroom today is just it's residue. Because we kind of knew some of the stuff but didn't know. But it's it's tough. So you do think that you don't think she is a victim?
Not at all.
Obviously in there.
Not at all. And again, I'm not talking about.
And I get that.
That video is an isolated incident.
Yeah,
Like
isolated.
the stuff that people are talking about on social media, it ain't even going to the video. It's the stuff about the freak offs, and I didn't want to do that, and I wasn't comfortable. And they're trying to change the assault laws now to where it's the term is called rape by seduction.
Uh-huh.
Now think about that. Basically, what they're saying is now, anytime you get involved with somebody, now you damn near got to have a NDA or they got to sign a consent form. And realistically, when have you ever in life, in your experiences, said to a woman like, "Hey, I'm trying to get my dick wet. What's up?"
Huh?
You never did. Generally, it was always, "What you doing right now? Can I see you? Oh, I miss you. I want you to come over. I'm watching TV. It would be better if you were here." You never, even though it's implied, but you never came out and directly said it. But what they're trying to change now is that, because again, what anybody can say, 30 years from now, somebody can say, "Oh, when I dated JB back in college, I really wasn't like, or I thought I was gonna be his wife. That's the only reason why." It's convenient to say when it don't work.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they were just as much with it as you were. They were just as much sending you the emoji, you know what I'm saying, the eggplant and the little water squirt emoji to you.
Yeah.
But she didn't verbally say.
Yeah.
And so my thing is that, again, if we're solely looking at the video where she's getting beat up in that window, that's different. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about people are commenting on the whole thing. It's like, "Oh, she just was disillusioned," and it's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like we don't leave one job and go to another job because they offer more money or better benefits.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then generally what happened? We get with the job and what we say, "Man, this job's some bullshit, bro." But we left the job to come to this job because we were going to use this job for the better pay and the better benefits.
Yep.
And that's all I'm saying. She saw an opportunity. Blessings. She saw an opportunity. She went with, and it didn't work. And so now it's like, okay, well, because it didn't work now, I really didn't like doing this, and I really didn't want to. But even though you're texting back, I can't wait. I'm always down. I'm excited about the next. Like, this is stuff you're unprompted. He's asking you, "Hey, let me know when you're ready for the next one." "Oh, I'm always ready." But that's so now. And that's all I'm saying.
That's why I just say, kind of in the beginning, I would, kind of do that, because once you get sucked into that Hollywood lifestyle and all that stuff, again, because she came in and be like, "Oh, I can get something from him, and I can use my, girlish looks, body figure, and all this stuff to get what I want." But then on the flip side, you don't know that this is a whole nother beast that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? With Diddy, he charismatic, look good, whatever on the outside, but inside, he's sucking you in. And so, like I said, that's why I say maybe in the beginning, I would say she's not a victim. But like I said, if your daughter, whoever else is with somebody, and he's just a jerk or whatever, and it's like last 6 months, it's like, okay, but if you've been with somebody for years and years, you got to take some accountability on that. You know what I'm saying? It's just you can't be the victim for years. You can be the victim for a small window of time, right? But I think Cassie and Diddy were together for like 12 years or something like that. And so that's the only reason I say, like, maybe in the beginning, but like those from year 2 to year 12, like, I say
a few years back, you know the situation, like, because you know I pulled over here, we chopped it. Look, you know it was something serious. It was like fucking May, June, hot. You know what I'm saying? I pulled up with the like we in the
backyard
sweating.
Yeah.
But
kids playing out
right.
there.
Yeah. But you know what but did I ever make myself out to be a victim?
No.
And
No,
even
also
now,
no.
you don't hear me badmouth that situation because I blame me. Now, not for the stuff that she did. I blame me for putting myself in the situation. I blame me for not listening to wise counsel. I blame me for not using common sense. I blame me for not looking at the repeated history of behavior over years that had taken place, and I still allowed myself to be in the situation.
Yeah.
So now, how am I a victim?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When I bring this woman here, when I'm move her into a place, when I move into a spot with her, we get all our furniture in there and everything, and I'm in it, like, how am I a victim? And again, and if people knew, like, something, like, something, like, people like, oh my God, that's messed up. But I don't never let people badmouth her. Why? Because I put myself in that situation. And I had multiple opportunities where I could have walked away before it had got that deep. And in hindsight, like they say, it's 2020, and Holy Spirit revealed to me sometimes even beyond that. It's like, oh man, I could have walked away. I should have walked away. Like, that was my window.
Yeah.
What does the scripture say? No temptation is given except that which is common to man, but he provides what, like, I had my way of escape.
Way out, yeah.
But I chose not to take. I chose to go back. So now when shit hits the fan, I can't blame her. And essentially, like, that's what we do. We put ourselves in these bad situations, but when shit hits the fan, as it will, then now instead of me owning and saying, like, you know what, I was really trying to use this part. Like, I really was trying to use them to benefit my career. I thought this was going to help me blow up. Boy, I was wrong about that. But you know what? I'm still alive. Let me leave with my life and go ahead and again. And nobody would. She could have lived her life, and nobody would have ever been. She wouldn't even been associated with this. But now, forever, you're going to be the girl that somebody was pulling out and skeeting on you while Diddy was watching, or pulling out of you and skeeting on Diddy. Like, you're going to always be associated with that.
Yeah, you trying to get the girl to be accountable. Wish you well with that. Let's get into the NBA playoff real quick. Then we're going to get into these quickies real quick. OKC in Minnesota. They played tonight. OKC won the first game. I don't know what the final score was, but they won the first game. New York and the Pacers play tomorrow. Who you got winning, Rag, in the Western Conference Finals first? Because we going week by week because I know things can change.
So, actually, the Thunder won tonight.
They won tonight. It's 1-0.
They blew them out, actually.
Yeah, I didn't see the finals.
Yeah, 114-88.
Wow. Okay.
So, they're up 1-0.
Yeah.
It is a bad matchup for the Timberwolves. Mm-hmm. Regardless, 3 of the teams have never won a championship.
Yeah.
The Thunder.
The Knicks. No,
I said 3. No, 3 of the teams. The Thunder, the Timberwolves, and the Pacers
50 years. You can't
have never won a championship.
Yeah.
The Knicks. It's a lot of Knicks fans who have not seen a championship in their lifetime.
Yeah.
It was a few Knicks fans who might have saw it when they were kids, and they are approaching the twilight.
Yeah.
Or they're in the twilight of their lives. And hopefully, they may see it before it's over. I still feel like OKC is scary, but I'm still holding out hopes on Minnesota. I still think I'm thinking Minnesota and New York.
Now, what I want to see in the finals, I think that would be the most entertaining, the best finals is New York and Minnesota. Storylines is crazy. Ant in Madison Square Garden. The 2 traded with each other in the summer. Mm-hmm. Cat from Minnesota. Julius Randle with New York. DiVincenzo and somebody else.
That was Hardenstein too, wasn't it?
Hardenstein, yep. He was. Yeah. He was OKC. He was OKC though.
Oh, Hardenstein went to OKC?
Yeah, he in OKC now.
Oh, okay.
But the storyline would be crazy. Now, I'm gonna stick to what I said. I said I think Minnesota would get to the finals. I think they have a better chance to get to the finals. They play Denver if Denver beat OKC, because I do think this is a different matchup for them. So I want to see Minnesota and New York, but what I think I'm gonna see is I really think I'm gonna see OKC and the Pacers. That's what I think I'm gonna see, just because a lot of people I think are discounting the Pacers and their style of play. And the coaching, Carlissimo.
PJ Carlissimo.
Yeah, he's that coach. Rick Carlisle. That's his name. Rick Carlisle for the Pacers. That's his name. Rick Carlisle. Mm-hmm. He's cold. He's cold with it. So he's gonna have adjustments. Pascal Siakam, he got a championship in Toronto.
Right.
He know how to win.
Spicy people.
You know what I'm saying? Him, Miles Turner. They got a lot of little boys over there with the Pacers. So I think that's going to be a good series. But I think it's going to be Pacers, OKC. But I want to see Minnesota and New York playing the finals, and we're going to kind of see what's up with that. Let's get with these quickies right quick, dog. We got, you said Clarissa Shields, the Beyonce of boxing. Tell me what you think about that. I don't know what
I
you're
think
talking about.
now she said that she was making a statement of that. I would say yes because she's moved up. I'm not gonna say she's fought in every weight class, but she's moved up. She's fought in about at least 4 weight classes, and she's been the pound for pound champ, undisputed champ in every weight class she's fought in. And now I want to say she's at the top. I want to say heavyweight, you know. So, and generally, when you talk about the greatest in boxing, is always goes from the heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Position. I want to say the only boxer that they say is in the GOAT conversation that wasn't a heavyweight was Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
All the rest of them, from Joe Louis to Muhammad Ali to Mike Tyson, like all of them heavyweights. The reason why they discount Mayweather is they say he wasn't, he never was a heavyweight. Clarissa Shields, no matter what weight class she's been in, she's dominated. She's undefeated as a boxer. She went into MMA. She's won in MMA.
Yeah, I saw that.
So she is like, so when she says what she is, and so the Beyonce aspect of, I'm not just Destiny's Child, I'm also a solo artist. I'm not just R&B, I can do country. So for her, I'm not just, featherweight, I'm also a welterweight. I'm not welterweight, I'm light heavyweight. I'm not just light heavyweight, I'm heavyweight. I'm not just boxing, I'm MMA. She is the Beyonce of boxing. And then also when they say, as far as for, especially with women, entertainer-wise, I would say from
Definitely, yeah.
she's the GOAT.
She brands herself.
Entertainers. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when you talk about just in the ring, and people are like, oh, Layla Ali she didn't talk trash like that. Yeah, but Muhammad Ali did. You know what I'm saying? So Floyd Mayweather did. You know what I'm saying? So, like, again, it's like, do y'all want her to be silent because it's a woman, it's a black woman, she can't say nothing? Like, at this point in her career, I mean, I'm going to pull up her record real quick, but at this point in her career, like, with this many, and I'm not speaking no losses on her or nothing like that, but at this point, and she's held multiple world championships in 5 weight classes. So, and she's been the undisputed light middleweight, middleweight twice, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. And so she holds the record for becoming the 2, 3, 4, and 5 division world champion with the fewest professional fights. And she's ranked as the best active female fighter.
Right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So when you look at the thing of, yeah, okay, you could say she hadn't had as many fights, but 16 fights. She's 16-0. You know what I'm saying? In her fights. In her MMA record. The 3 MMA fights, she's won 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you look at that, she's a gold medalist in the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, she's won gold medals, like, in whether it's the Pan American Games or the Olympics. Like, she is a very accomplished fighter.
It's a quickie now.
Yeah. So, like I said, I get it. I'm just pointing out why we saying that. That's all.
But yeah, I smash it. I see what you're saying with that. Now, the FBI said they're on their way to Memphis because I don't know if you saw, I think Pastel, I don't know if he's a senator or something like there in D.C. or maybe he's the top of FBI. He said Memphis is the murder capital of America per capita, given especially what's been happening the last couple of months or whatever. So I, for one, am like, I'm cool with that, if that means bringing in more reinforcement here to get certain things done. Because, some of the stuff has been kind of wild. So I'm smashing that. What say you, Rack?
Get ready to move.
Get ready to move.
Well, you won't be able to afford to stay here, because when that happens, you got to look at what's going on. Like I've always said, to where this area sits, Elon brought his business here. Google is building a $10 million facility here. It was somebody else that's bringing a company here that said it's going to create 123 jobs here, and they're looking to hire from within the city. Like, the reason why that's happening is because of what they're bringing here, but it's because of where this area sits at. But it's going to come at the expense of the current residents, and they're going to price us out. So in 10 years, most of the people that's going to be here are not going to be native Memphis. It's going to be transplants. It's going to be people who are relocating to do these jobs that they're creating here. They're going to get rid of those of us who have been here, and we're going to be on the outside looking in, because that's what happens.
So you don't like the FBI coming here to try to
Not
make
at
the
all,
city
because
safer.
basically you want to buy real estate, go to where the property value the lowest, where the most murder it is. That's where you buy the cheapest real estate. You can move everybody else out, jack the price up to where the original residents can't afford to stay there.
Interesting. All right, Chris Brown was arrested in London for something that happened in a club in Manchester. Not too much to say about this. Just it just seems Trevor always finds him. You know that he's always putting himself in that position. You know to get in these type of situations, get arrested, and all this stuff. So hate it for him. Obviously, he's gonna be out and do what he do again. So that's what it is. Was that you got something else to say with that, Rack?
I just hate we live in an age now where everybody can sue about everything. Like, niggas used to fight back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you write a song about it, or you nowadays you get on the podcast and talk about it, and that would be the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now any altercation, anything you do is gonna result in somebody trying to sue you. It's bullshit or whatever. Stop fighting, Breezy.
Yeah, man, you getting too old for that. He ain't not old as us, but he got to be getting closer to 40 at this point.
He's definitely late 30.
Yeah, he got to be getting like 35, 36 years. So, yeah, bro, it's getting too old for that. All right. Now, we said this something last week about Tory Lanez, and so now his lawyer is pushing for him to get out because of the new evidence that was shown because of what happened when the new evidence was being brought up. That's when, coincidentally, somebody came in, stabbed him, thought that they got rid of him. And so it's not, far-fetched to think that maybe somebody on Mama's camp.
Oh, you mean the Rock Nation camp? Oh, okay. She's with Rock Nation.
Put the word, you know what I'm saying? Because how, by coincidence, this evidence coming out that he actually didn't do it, and then now the next day or the same day, somebody happened to get in his cell or wherever they was at and stab him nearly 14 times, but he actually survived.
My problem is that when, and again, I don't like this thing of where people feel like you should be exempt from bullshit. It's like, oh, how could you shoot a black woman? How could anybody get shot?
Mm-hmm.
Like let's keep, like, it's not like black women, just people just shooting black women every day. Okay? Like, that ain't the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because we like Megan, we like her. Girl power.
Like the way she looked.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I said, would people have the same energy if it was, and I ain't talking about Precious now, but I'm talking about Precious when she played as Precious.
Right.
Gabby Sittlebright. Like, will we have the same outrage? Okay, like, initially, even Megan said that Tory didn't shoot her. We forget that. Mm-hmm. Initially, she was defending him.
Forget it. I heard it. I
right?
remember that. Yeah.
So you lied about that. Mm-hmm. Then, not too long after you had the surgery, like, you supposedly have a surgery, and you right in the club twerking the next day or something. Like, so it was close.
Yeah.
Okay, like, and again, I've been in the hospital and had to have major stuff done. I wasn't doing shit for the next day. Like, my black ass was laid off in the corner somewhere. Okay, like, but you in there, I mean, busting it down. Another thing, you was it Gayle King? Oh, you never had a sexual relationship with him. So, like, and again, true enough, it ain't our business, but you've made this public. So now you're constantly lying and changing your story. I want to have your back. I want to believe you. But no, I'm gonna keep it a book. As a father of daughters, and I've been in situations where I had to be talking to principals and things of that nature, and I want to be super like I was up there, and I knew it was something odd. I went up to the school, and I'm like, no, I'm finna talk to the principal, and I knew it was something. My dog was like, oh, you ain't got to talk to her. Why not? What you mean? No, she did you wrong. We finna get about no, I don't even want to. And at that point, it was like, okay, it's more to this than what's going on. And had I reacted out of my emotion, I would have made an ass of myself. Because when it came to find out, and I looked at them cameras and everything,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, shit. You was about to make an ass out of all of us. And that's all I'm saying. When you constantly changing that story, and that's what it's been from day one. First, he didn't do it. Then he did it. Then y'all didn't have a sexual life. Then y'all had a sexual life. Like, you just constantly changing the story. And people go, why did he apologize? Again, we can sit up here and say, I remember, and I know this is a quickie. I remember it was a chick who came to see me once. And so she came over there, we kicked it, and she left. And then her car, like halfway on her way home, like her car messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got to find, I'm trying to call and help her find a way to get home. And at the time, like, she came to see me, like, my car was messed up. So, like, I couldn't go to her, help her. And you know what? I told her, I'm sorry that you're going through. Now, was it my fault that her car messed up? If she hadn't came to see me, it probably would have messed up the next day when she was going to work or running errands or whatever. Like, the car was going to mess up when it was going to mess up. I just said that I was sorry that she was going through the situation. Just like when he was on the phone with, I believe it was Kelsey Son of recording, he said he's sorry. He never said he was sorry for shooting somebody. He said, I'm sorry that you're going through this situation. I'm sorry that you're in this situation. I'm sorry that I helped put you in this situation. Because you know why? I was fucking both of y'all. And that's why the altercation started.
Yeah.
So, again, I just think because we like Megan, we're making excuses. Going back to earlier conversation, we're making excuses. And I'm not saying that Tory did or didn't do it. Hopefully, whatever the real truth is will come out. Because he never actually, he was silent.
Yeah.
But to me, he's the most solid because he ain't trying to get nobody in trouble. And I think he feel like he fucked up because he was fucking both of them. And it's like, it's fucked up we in this situation. He trying not to snitch on nobody, but it could have got downplayed. But when you tell one lie, you got to keep lying.
Yeah.
And now it's spiraled out of control.
You got to keep domino effecting. And I'm just hoping, I've heard enough to me thinking like, I really want him to be out and allow, the evidence that has come out to really go back to the courts and be rectified, because one thing that irks me the most is a woman lying on another dude and then her getting off and her not getting punished, her not going to jail for lying under oath and doing other stuff like that. So especially when it comes to that, I thought she was lying from the get-go anyway, quite honestly. Just because, like you said, everything wasn't lining up. Because first it was this, and then when it became convenient, when it became a bigger story, now things all automatically change. That was maybe your people, your staff, your team telling you, hey, no, we need to do this. We need to pivot to go over here because you don't need this type of pressure, this type of story, this type of narrative to go, you know what I'm saying, with your brand and what you kind of got going on now. Because at that time, I think she was doing a lot of national shows and stuff. And so she was like on tour time or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we gonna see what's up with that.
To that point, which is like, I hate that, like, if it does come out that he's 100% innocent, like, people are going to make excuses for why she lied. Cool. That's the only thing, to your point, how you said, like, that's the only thing. Like, I just hate that, like, we can't just be like, you know what, that was fucked up that you had us riding for you like that, Megan. That ain't going to be the reaction. Like, everybody, you're going to have all the Facebook psychologists and psychiatrists that's going to be like, well, her mom died when she was a teenager, and so this trauma, and she didn't have a relationship with her dad, and it's not just going to be like, damn, chick, like, That's fucked up that you had us riding for you like that. You should have kept it a buck. That ain't gonna happen. And that's to your point. Like that's the part I hate.
Yeah, I don't like that at all, man. But yeah, y'all. Until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
Most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.